It was the quiet town of Rockport, Indiana, in the fall of 2009, a place where the days were slow and nights were calm enough to hear the wind whisper through the trees. But on one cold November evening, that peace was shattered by a discovery so horrific it would haunt the community for years to come. The victim was 15-year-old Alexis Osterly, a bright, outgoing teenager with a heart too big for the chaos around her. To those who knew her, Lexi was the kind of girl who could light up a room with her laughter. But behind that smile, she carried the silent weight of a troubled home. On the night of November 1st, 2009, Lexi was reported missing after she failed to return home. At first, her disappearance seemed like that of a restless teen. Maybe she'd gone to cool off after an argument. Maybe she was with friends. But as the night stretched on, worry turned to fear. Then, in the dark hours of that same night, a police officer searching the backyard made a chilling discovery behind the family shed. Lexi's lifeless body, hidden away as if someone had tried to erase her from existence. The scene was gruesome, marked by violence and fury that no one could understand. The investigation that followed would peel back layers of secrets about anger, betrayal, and control. It would expose the darkness lurking inside a home that once looked perfect from the outside. When the truth finally came to light, it revealed that the person responsible for Lexi's death was someone she had known, trusted, and even loved. From that moment on, the Indiana State Police took over the case. Their mission? To uncover what really happened to Alexis Osterly and to bring the one who ended her young life to justice. This is her story. Alexis Osterly came into the world on a cold January morning in Cleveland, Ohio, a tiny spark born into a storm. Her mother, Jessica, adored her fiercely. Her father, whose name would fade into silence, disappeared from their lives almost as soon as Alexis could speak. The home that once echoed with lullabies slowly turned into an empty stage, just the mother and daughter against the world. Jessica tried to rebuild. She met a woman, whether a friend or something more, no one could quite say. Together they fled Cleveland's gray skies and began anew in sunny Florida, chasing peace as if it were a butterfly always fluttering out of reach. But by 2007, that friendship or love dissolved too, leaving Jessica once again with nothing but her daughter and the stubborn hope that better days lay ahead. That hope seemed to appear when she met Ryan Shelby, a Navy veteran with a smile that could melt steel and promises as sweet as honey. He worked hard, treated her kindly, and seemed to adore Alexis. Within months, Jessica and Alexis moved in with him. Soon after, they married. It looked like the picture-perfect family: a soldier, his bride, and a daughter who began calling him Dad. But behind every perfect picture, there's often a crack. In 2008, Jessica became pregnant. The news should have been a blessing, but instead it split the fragile happiness in two. Ryan's parents despised Jessica, saw her as a storm threatening their precious son. To avoid conflict, Ryan whisked Jessica and Alexis away to Rockport, Indiana. To Jessica, this move felt like a new beginning. She couldn't have known it was the beginning of the end. Their baby girl was born that December. For a fleeting moment, life felt full. But soon, the sweet scent of baby powder was replaced by the sour stench of arguments. The laughter in their home turned into slammed doors and muffled tears. By 2009, Alexis, now 15 and known as Lexi, was a bright light dimming too soon. With her quick wit and radiant smile, she drew people to her like moths to a flame. But even flames burn out when suffocated. Her mother's relationship was crumbling, and Lexi could feel the house turning colder. She began rebelling, hanging out with the wrong crowd, drinking, shouting back at her mother. The tension boiled over until police visits became routine. According to Jessica, Lexi even became physical, though Jessica, perhaps out of guilt or love, never fought back. Lexi was admitted to a mental health facility, where doctors said she had a nonspecific mood disorder. She was given medication, but medicine couldn't fix a home that was already fractured. Then came June, and with it, heartbreak. Lexi broke up with her boyfriend and tried to end her own life. She survived, but something inside her shattered. Her pain was an ocean, and she was drowning silently. Meanwhile, Ryan's mask was slipping. The charming veteran revealed a dark, explosive temper. He punched walls, shouted until his voice cracked, and ruled the house with fear. Whispers grew that he mistreated their younger daughter. Child services came knocking, but like ghosts, they came and went, leaving everything unchanged. Lexi, desperate to protect her little sister, began calling for help. No one listened. Her mother clung to Ryan, insisting he would change. Ironically, the woman who had once fled broken love now embraced it tightly, as if leaving again would destroy her completely. By October 31st, 2009, it seemed the storm had calmed. Jessica and Ryan were smiling again, planning to move to a new house, maybe even have another baby. But peace, like glass, can look whole even when it's cracked. That night, Lexi vanished. Jessica waited for her to come home for dinner. She didn't. Hours ticked by like thunderclaps. Panic clawed at Jessica's chest as she called the police. Officers arrived, searched the home, took photos, and asked for a picture of Lexi. Jessica handed over her camera's memory card. Minutes later, an officer stepped into the dark backyard, flashlight slicing through the blackness. Everything looked ordinary, until he turned toward the shed. There, in the beam of light, something pale caught his eye. A body. Lexi. Jessica's scream tore through the night, raw and animalistic, a sound that could shatter stone. The investigation began like a slow nightmare. Lexi's body had been dragged across the dirt, her clothes disheveled, her blood splattered across the fence like a cruel painting. Jessica mentioned seeing a mysterious black truck near the house that night, one neither she nor Lexi recognized. But her story didn't sit right. What mother, seeing a strange vehicle outside while her daughter was home alone, simply drives away? The irony was as sharp as a blade. As detectives dug deeper, the story twisted further. A boy named Gunter, Lexi's friend, came forward. He'd been with her that night. They talked in his truck, Lexi crying about Ryan, clutching a steak knife, saying she felt like hurting him. Gunter took the knife away, trying to calm her down before leaving around 11 p.m. But here's where time played its cruelest trick. Jessica says she came home at 11:09 p.m. to an empty house. Gunter texted Lexi at 11:09 p.m. and got no reply. Within those 9 minutes, Lexi was killed. 9 minutes. The blink of an eye. The time it takes for a kettle to boil or a life to be stolen. Ryan claimed he hadn't seen Lexi that night, but Gunter's story said otherwise. Soon Ryan's web of eyes unraveled. His boots were found soaked with Lexi's blood. When confronted, he cracked, confessing that he defended himself after Lexi supposedly attacked him. He said she came at him with a knife. He disarmed her, and then, when she lunged again, he struck. But his words were hollow. The autopsy told a story soaked in rage. Lexi had been stabbed multiple times, one wound slicing so deep it reached her spine. 2 skull fractures, 6 blunt force hits to the forehead. The weapon used? Never found. Ryan never admitted to using a hammer, yet the evidence sang a song of fury and betrayal. On November 10th, 2009, Ryan Shelby was charged with murder. In 2012, he was sentenced to 55 years in prison. But even justice felt ironic. Jessica had defended him to the very end, her loyalty as misplaced as a prayer in a storm. The black truck she swore was mysterious turned out to belong to Lexi's friend. And still, one question lingers in the cold night air, like a whisper carried by the wind. If Ryan didn't strike her in the head, then who did? May her soul rest in peace.